Let me
We're live. We are live.
Where are we live?
We're live.
You're in control, bro. I don't know.
Welcome back. Sports Scrutiny Live. Me and Rob are back in the building. What is up, guys?
Yeah, I'm excited. Thank you for
Yeah.
allowing me to be here. Oh wait, never mind. I'm a host.
We made it back to you guys, man. Look, we're gonna keep it short, we're gonna keep it smooth, we're gonna keep it clean tonight. We're gonna run over UFC 222 and let y'all know what we thought about the outcome of UFC 222. It was a somewhat big card. Everybody's saying Cyborg saved the card ever since Max Holloway pulled out and wasn't able to fight Frankie Edgar for the main event. So
I don't know. I like the Ortega Edgar fight.
I did too.
It
I
went
enjoyed
differently in my head, but it was pretty good.
You had Frankie Edgar for the win.
Not. I wasn't thinking that, but I wasn't expecting a knockout. What was it?
I mean, I just don't think I don't think Frankie Edgar's ever faced any. I mean, I don't think Brian Ortega's ever faced anybody like Frankie Edgar, like a violent person. I mean, he did. Well, okay, I take that back because he fought Cub Swanson and Clay Guida, but I mean, Frankie Edgar's just a different animal. Like he's a different animal, and I honestly I couldn't pick a winner in this fight. I mean, that fight was just.
I was leaning more towards Ortega, but I wasn't expecting a knockout, to be honest. Especially not in the first one.
Would you say that one more time, Rob?
I said I had Ortega in mind for the victory, but I wasn't expecting a knockout or a TKO.
No.
I wasn't expecting.
No.
It was the same thing with the Cyborg fight. I wasn't expecting a TKO in the first round either. But I had a feeling Cyborg was still going to win. And even with the control, I'm pretty if I remember the card correctly, Yana had 2 minutes of control in that fight. Or something like that. What was that?
What did you say? I couldn't hear you.
I was saying Yana, she had about 2 minutes of control in that fight, which was surprising.
Yeah, she did, man. That was surprising. I mean, the thing about Yana, though, I just don't think Yana was. I don't take anything away from Yana. I like Yana. I've always liked Yana. That's why I pulled for Yana because this was a huge step up for Yana. I just think Yana. I just don't think she was quite ready for the.
I think
power.
I think the spotlight got to her a little bit.
Well, she said she had octagon jitters. She admitted to that. She said she had a few, a little bit of octagon jitters. It was different from fighting in front of 800 people on the Invicta cards to fighting in front of 14,000.
It's different fighting in Invicta and then fighting in UFC. Period. No matter what card you're on.
Yeah,
it's just another level.
Oh, absolutely.
It's the upper level.
Oh yeah,
it's the top of the
most
chain.
definitely. Step up for Yana.
Yeah.
But Yana did something that so many girls are scared to do, and that's legitimately step into the ring and fight Cyborg. So she did it. So I definitely commend Yana Kunitskaya on there, giving it her best shot. We definitely seen what kind of game plan. And the same, she had trained with Holly Holm because Holly had a lot of success in the clinch against Cyborg. Cyborg down a lot against the fence in that fight, and I could definitely tell from watching it that she had definitely took some tips from Holly Holm. But like I said, once Cyborg landed, I just don't think Yana was quite ready for that kind of power, that kind of a hit. Because the first hit within, what was it, like the first 5 seconds of the fight, Cyborg landed a clean right hand, and Yana she dropped down to her knees immediately. And I think it was just kind of a response, an automatic response for her to go for the takedown because Yana is a submission specialist. So when she got the takedown, I just thought she was kind of running off of instinct, but she wasn't. She was running off of skill. She was actually trying to down, and she was trying to actively submit Cyborg, and she got very close to doing just that. But once again, when you get
Well,
hit by Cyborg,
the
when you get hit by,
the
go ahead.
biggest problem, I'm not sure necessarily. I don't give it full credit to the. I don't give full credit to the power. What the problem with Yana was, she was too open. Cyborg landed
She
like
was.
80% of her punches. She only threw like 55
Mm-hmm.
punches, and she landed 80% of them. That's a problem.
Mm-hmm.
That's like that's a huge problem. That's like 44,
Yeah.
42 punches. That builds in that short of time.
Mm-hmm.
That was a first round fight, and you're getting hit 45 times by one of the strongest female fighters out there right now. That's a problem.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it would make sense. Give more
Mm-hmm.
credit to the power. Give more credit to Cyborg's power if it was like maybe 20 punches, maybe 15 punches. But she was just landing consistent strikes, and that's gonna knock
Yeah,
down.
she
That's gonna
was.
knock down anybody, especially in such a short amount of time. She landed like a certain amount of punches that some fighters only get in like 3 rounds. She was landing 40, 42,
Mm-hmm.
44 punches, and she got power. She just overwhelmed Yana, and I think it's just the stage got to her because I don't think she was really her Yana's defenses aren't really that bad. So for people that would say that, oh, she was just way outclassed and outmatched, I don't think so. Not in terms of skills. I would probably say more was
Uh
what did you do? I see your phone is looking at the ceiling. Can't hear you, bro.
We're back.
Now you got an echo. Don't worry, guys. We're still fresh. We're new at
Okay,
this.
I'm back. I'm
We'll
sorry.
we'll, we'll get we'll get it.
I'm sorry, guys. I'm back though. But yeah, man. I think Yana was waiting too much. She was waiting too much, and she didn't have any head movement at all. She had no head movement whatsoever. Not that from what I could see, and she was just like a standing target. I mean, her head was literally a standing target, and she was right there to get hit by Cyborg, and she did. She got hit by Cyborg, and when she got hit, like and someone pointed out to me, you've seen when you see these female fighters, there's like a sense of like masculinity around these women because they're fighters, they're tough, they're tough girls. And someone pointed out to me that you seen the female come out of Yana when she got hit. I mean, she got hit. So, but once again, kudos to Yana Kunitskaya for actually getting in there. I'm excited to see Yana in the UFC
See,
though. I'm excited to see what she's gonna do in the future in the UFC.
I get what whoever was said that to you. I get what you're saying, but
Hmm.
in a in terms to necessarily protect one's opinion, I don't think that I would describe it as a masculinity and then her showing her, you know, femininity being hit. I wouldn't necessarily describe it as that. I think it would just. I wouldn't say that these fighters are any different than the male fighters. To tell you the truth, because you see the dudes, they're tough. They're full of testosterone. They got that. They got it flowing. But
Oh
they get
yeah,
hit, they're gonna crumble to their knees the same.
right.
And the one thing that I really love about MMA and the UFC is they never really there's not really any type of division. There's no women's this, men's that. I mean, we have fights set. We have cards. We have them set. We know who the champions are. We know who the contenders are, and it's never. It's almost like gladiators. They're all just fighters. They're all
Mm-hmm.
performers. They're not. They don't. I mean, we talk about them being women. We talk about them being men, but in reality, they're just fighters. So I
Mm-hmm.
wouldn't necessarily say that, oh, she got hit and then you could really see the girly girl in her, because you can, you hit a guy the same way, he's gonna do the same thing.
Oh yeah.
If you get a guy of equal stature hits him the same way, not necessarily. I'm not gonna say like if Cyborg were to hit a guy the same way, would he do to have the same action? It's possible. I'm not saying that it would be possible, but of equal stature, yeah, a guy would do the very same.
Oh yeah.
I just think that the spotlight was just
Too much for Yana. I think it was too much
yeah,
for her because
just over.
I've seen Yana fight better than that. I've seen Yana perform better than that. So, um, like I said, it just might have been the octagon jitters, but she got paid, so she's going off. She's got a kid. She's going out to take care of her business. I'm like I said, I'm excited to see Yana come back into the UFC and fight some of those top contenders in the bantamweight division, and that leads me to this talking about the bantamweight division. Another bantamweight bites the dust. If you look, and that's the way I look at it. Yana lost. She's another bantamweight. That's the only people that they've put in front of Cyborg. They're bantamweights. So on Sports Scrutiny's Facebook, if you guys are followers on our Facebook, I started this little poll because last fight she called out Megan Anderson. This fight she called out Amanda Nunes. So I started a little poll to see who our subscribers and our followers thought that Cyborg should face next, and it was a poll between Amanda Nunes, bantamweight champion, or Megan Anderson, featherweight champion, Invicta featherweight champion. And the more votes went toward Amanda Nunes, went toward Megan Anderson, because, and I see kind of why they went toward Megan Anderson, because two things. First, really important thing is Raquel Pennington is much better, and she was off on a broken foot. I think it was a broken foot or broken ankle or something, and she's the number one contender for the bantamweight division. She's coming off of a win last year, or maybe it was 2 years ago. It was 2 years ago, over Misha Tate, who was the former champion and number one contender, after she lost the belt to Nunes at UFC 200. So you got Misha Tate, who she beat, and then she got injured. So I think they're going to give the UFC is going to give Raquel Pennington her title shot against Amanda Nunes, because she's been waiting on it, through the injury and before the injury. She's been waiting on that title shot, and now she's getting that title shot. So I think the next fight would be Megan Anderson. And when Megan Anderson was telling everyone that when she wouldn't tell everyone what was the issue of why she couldn't fight Cyborg last time, it's come out now, and it's because of the work visa situation, the work
Yeah, I don't like that. I
situation.
don't like that it's come out now. I don't like that.
Well, Brandon Shaw,
I don't like how it's been
Brandon,
handled.
well, YouTube journalist Brandon Shaw, he came out. He found out why she had to pull out of the last fight, because the only thing Megan would tell everybody was personal reasons. She would never admit to it being a work visa issue, and now her work visa is now
Yeah,
she can
I
literally
don't like
work
how that's
again.
being handled.
What do you mean
I
by
don't like
that?
I don't, something as simple as a work visa that it's not embarrassing. It's not demeaning to your being a professional. Has nothing to do with you
Right,
fighting. Has
right,
zero to do with control of you as a being. It's simply just your ability to apply for something and be accepted. And I
right.
guarantee you, had she applied at the right time, she would have been accepted at the right time. I don't like that. I think that the fact that it's come out now, and whether she owns it or doesn't own it, whether it was leaked or this Brian found out by himself. Either way, no matter what the situation turns out to be, I just don't like how it was handled.
It was handled, yeah. And she wouldn't tell her most loyal fans why. We wanted to know why Why aren't you fighting? We're wanting to see you fight, and she would never tell why she couldn't fight. But now we
Yeah,
know.
I just,
Now we think we know. We think we know why. And that's the most.
I just don't. It still doesn't change my opinion
It,
about
it
the whole
makes you feel kind of,
situation.
makes you feel kind of salty about Megan Anderson. It kind of does, and it leaves a bad taste in your mouth. And I understand because I feel the same way. And you're not even a Megan Anderson fan. I'm a fan. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm waiting to see Megan Anderson fight on the big stage, and she gives us some crap excuse of why she can't fight, and it made her look like she was scared to fight Cyborg. You know what I'm saying? And she must have been okay with, people thinking that she was scared of Cyborg because she would never tell the reason why. If she would have just said a work visa, then everybody would have been like, "Oh, okay, well, get that handled, and we'll see you in the ring." But people are like, why? And she felt like
Also,
she felt
another
like
thing is,
go ahead.
as big of a corporation that Dana White has made the UFC, you almost would think that if that was really the case, he wanted to bring her to the table. He brought her to the UFC. He wanted to showcase her. He obviously thinks she's talented. Why, if that was the actual reason, why would he not aid her in getting a work visa for the United States? Because that is seriously the most basic thing. That's almost the first thing any employer would do before
Well,
hiring
see, I
somebody,
think I
especially
think it's
a company made built in the United States. Why would you bring somebody to your company if you had no intention or if you had knowledge that she didn't have a work visa?
I think
Like
that's more of I think that's
you
I
would
think
almost
it's
go
more
out
of
of your
her doing her
way
job now.
to get that for your fighter. I don't know.
I think that's more of I think it's more of her job and more of her manager's job to take care of that. I don't think that's on the UFC.
Yeah,
I
I'm
think
not
that
blaming the UFC. I'm not blaming the UFC. I'm not blaming them at all. But I'm saying, as big of a company as they are, they obviously see her talent, or they wouldn't
yeah.
have brought her up. But it's almost like companies that want you. You could any company in the world wants you. They will actually pay for you to move. They
Yes, they
will
will.
pay for your. They will pay the truck. They will pay whatever. They will pay the deposit on the place. They may even
Mhm.
pay for the first month or first 2 months or whatever. They really want you to work for that company. They will take me from wherever I'm at right now and move me to Chicago, move me to LA if they really
Yep.
want me to.
Yep.
Why, if that really was the case, as simple as a work visa, the UFC would have to have knowledge of it.
Yeah.
Why
I
would they?
agree.
How is it they would, as simple as that, would they not aid her in trying to get the work visa for the United States?
I
It
agree,
doesn't
man.
make sense to me. I think
I
I just don't like how it's being handled. I think it's a cop out, and I've lost even more respect for Megan Anderson than I did before I knew about this, or not know about whatever this work visa nonsense.
Well, I mean, everyone sees Megan Anderson as the great white hope, as the one to actually put away Cyborg. So that will be, I mean, that'll be an interesting, that'll be an interesting battle. But on to this, we've given that enough. On to the Brian Ortega and Frankie Edgar fight. Oh my
Oh yeah,
gosh, dude!
man, that was just.
For a
I was really surprised. I was actually expecting more of a ground
grappling
game.
match, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
Ortega. I was expecting him to be like all, trying to pull out some submission or something, but
Like showcasing.
there
I
was
thought
no
maybe
submission attempts.
well he
None.
did. Well, Frankie did shoot in one time, and
Yeah, but there
Brian.
was no submission attempts. I mean, nobody
Yeah.
tried to submit at all. Nobody tried any type of movement on the ground. Like
Well, he had
there was no dominating ground control by either
no
fighter. None.
neither.
And that was surprising to see from Ortega. And then he turns around and TKOs him.
Yeah,
Man, I was just
biggest thing I wanted to say. Like if you look at Ortega's, I mean, he's a jujitsu player. Everybody knows he's a jujitsu
yeah,
player.
yeah.
He has high level jujitsu. But if you look at Brian Ortega's previous fights, especially the fight against Cub Swanson and the fight against Clay Guida, if you look back at those fights, his stand up was not that crisp. Like he got pieced up a lot, especially in the Cub Swanson fight. Like his stand up, he's good at throwing strike. He's not good at defending himself. He's not good at he takes a lot of damage, and put it like that. He takes a lot of damage. So and then somebody that's a brawler like Frankie Edgar, it was kind of shocking. You know what I'm saying? To see Brian Ortega outdo Frankie Edgar on the feet. So that was just that right there. I was like, wow, he just knocked. I mean, he's got TKOs on his record, but just against someone like Frankie Edgar it was just kind of like, wow.
Yeah, I was expecting
Expecting,
honestly a
I was,
submission in the third round.
I was expecting a
Uh,
late fight submission too from Brian Ortega, and I was
yeah,
expecting Frankie Edgar to do better than to outclass him on the
it would
feet, but
almost be like in my mind the way I played it was Frankie was going to control the first 2 rounds, and Ortega wasn't gonna. He was gonna pull out basically a trump card submission in the third round
yeah,
because he knew he had to.
yeah,
That's
yeah.
what I was expecting. But
'Cause that's usually
man,
how his fights. That's usually how his fights go. He usually is losing the first couple of rounds, and then he comes out of nowhere. He's had so many round three submissions that it's insane. So I was waiting for the submission too, but then I seen that he hurt him. He hurt Frankie Edgar first, and then the uppercut just finished it. It finished the fight.
it's
And
just
it,
that was honestly, the Cyborg fight wasn't even my favorite fight. It was the Ortega fight, just
It was
because
it was the Ortega fight for me too, most
I
definitely.
just it just the shock, just shocked.
Oh yeah, great fight though. It was definitely a great fight, and it turned out to be a pretty decent card too. And the feature prelim on that card was actually Invicta's Mackenzie Dern, which was I was excited to see Mackenzie Dern make her UFC debut because there's a lot of hype around Mackenzie Dern, and I'm gonna be honest with you, I haven't watched all of her fights. Um, I've watched a few of her fights. I haven't watched them all, but a lot of people are comparing. She's a jujitsu player too, really, really good. She has a jujitsu win over. If everyone knows MMA, they know Gabby Garcia. Gabby Garcia is this huge chick that fights in Rising, and she trains with Chris Cyborg. So big, 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 big woman. Maybe 100 plus more pounds than Mackenzie Dern, and Mackenzie Dern has a jujitsu win over Gabby Garcia. Think about that. But a lot of people were comparing Mackenzie Dern to Ronda Rousey. Um, but as I actually watched, because Ashley Yoder tested Mackenzie Dern throughout this whole fight, so it's not like she. I mean, and she stuffed also. I think Mackenzie Dern had 7 takedown attempts. She stuffed every last one of them. She stuffed every last submission. I
Now
mean,
she did get
takedown.
one. She did get one. She did get
She
one
got one
take.
at the she got one at the end of the fight. At the end of the fight, but at the first couple of rounds, she shot 7 times, and Ashley Yoder was able to stop all seven takedown attempts. But the thing with Mackenzie Dern is usually when you have these jujitsu players, with the exception of Brian Ortega, these they're usually a little lacking when it comes to the hands, and you've seen that a lot. Like that, Mackenzie Dern exposed that a lot in this fight. Her stand up is not quite there. It's decent stand up, and when she connects with you, it hurts. She throws bombs, but to me, she reminded me more of like a Misha Tate type fighter. You know what I'm saying? Who's more comfortable on the ground, but if she has to use her striking, or her lack thereof striking, she will use it, and if it connects, it's gonna hurt you. So when I seen Mackenzie Dern fight, I seen more of a Misha Tate type, Misha Tate esque fighter, and kind of a forward pressure, always in your face, throws bombs to get inside, and once they get inside and they get you down, it's a completely different story. So that fight to me, Mackenzie Dern looks a little more like a Misha Tate type fighter. Um, she got the decision. She remains undefeated. So I'm excited to see what Mackenzie Dern is going to bring to the strawweight division. I mean, like a Mackenzie Dern, Jessica Andrade matchup, that would be something I like to see. Two brawlers go at it. Yeah, so I'm just excited to see what she brings to the UFC. Great fight though. I loved it.
Yeah, Yeah, I would probably say to counter that would be the Zingano Varia. How you say her name?
Ugh,
Vair
Kayla area. Oh my gosh.
Vieira. I would say that fight would probably trump that Dern fight in terms of
That was a really good fight. That
all
fight was
all
a
I gotta say
really
is she controlled Cat Zingano for I think about 10 minutes.
yeah.
Like it was unreal. The domination and I just I couldn't believe it. It was almost like Cat went into the fight tired. That's what it
Well,
looked like to
see,
me.
well, Cat's been off for such a long. I think Cat's last fight was UFC 200. If I'm not mistaken, it was UFC 200.
Yeah, but
And
you still have a training camp. You still train, you still work out, and it's just
yeah,
like she went into that fight almost
exhausted.
seemingly tired. Yeah,
Yeah.
like she had just got done running 20 miles or something.
Mhm. And she didn't perform like that wasn't Cat. Like that wasn't the Cat that fought Amanda Nunes. And
No.
I don't think it has anything to do with age because everybody's like, oh, Cat's getting older, Cat's getting older. Cat's still Cat.
Yeah.
Okay, like Cat ain't been gone for that long. You know what I'm saying? Like, I just think that if Cat had been active, she went through a rough patch in life. Like Cat went through a rough patch. And for her to come back to come back to fighting and not cop out like Ronda Rousey did, I think that that right there alone says enough about Cat. I think that one alone was a victory for Kat. Was getting back, overcoming what she overcame and getting back into the octagon to fight someone was enough of a win for me for Kat.
I mean, it's not.
But
I wasn't hating on, not hating on Cat at all. I mean,
yeah,
it still takes a lot to get into the octagon.
oh yeah, absolutely.
All I'm saying is, I don't know how to say her name.
Vieira,
Vieira.
yeah,
She
yeah.
was just so dominant,
She was dominant. Yeah,
so dominant.
she was dominant. And
She had what 2 or 3 takedowns and took her down all 3 times.
yeah,
It was
she had, and
just
that's that. Did you see
unreal.
that crazy judo hip toss, man? Oh my gosh.
Yeah, she just owned Cat.
But one thing, if you go back and watch that fight, one thing if you notice, Kat never stayed out of her face. Kat kept the forward pressure on the entire fight. Like
Oh yeah,
she
that's
never
Cat.
slowed down. Oh yeah, yeah.
That's just
She
Cat.
never slowed down. She never shied away from it. She fought to the very end. And I think that that fight, Kat needed that fight. Kat needed to come in and fight hard and lose. And the reason I say that is because that is going to spark such a flame under Kat Zingano. That fight right there, her coming back and her just wanting to win so bad and coming up short. I think that's going to light such a fire behind Kat that we've never seen before.
She's gonna come in
So
and
I'm
take the title.
exactly. So I'm excited to see. She's going to have to. I mean, Sarah McMahon just lost. Ketlin Vieira was coming off of a win over Sarah McMahon, and then Sarah McMahon loses. Who did she just lose to?
Who?
Um, Sarah McMahon. I can't remember who Sarah McMahon she just fought last 2 weeks ago. But anyways, Sarah McMahon just lost. Okay. Oh, she lost to Marion Renault. All right, she lost to Marion Renault. So I would like to see a Cat versus Sarah McMahon, maybe. Um, Two former top contenders. They both have fought Ronda Rousey. Um, they both have fought Misha Tate. They fought some pretty tough girls. So I would like to see them two get back at it against each other. That would be like a grudge match, if you ask me, fighting for that top contender spot. But now that Rocky Pennington's back into the picture, coming off her injury, we're going to see that as well. She's thrown up in the mix. I think Juliana Pena's had her kid already. I think she might be back to training already. So Juliana Pena, who's number two, is coming back. So we'll see how it goes.
No, you're not wrong. You're not wrong. Well, I see. Um, I see it being. I would say it being interesting over the next few weeks, especially UFC 223. I see that being very, very interesting. But
Who's on 223?
that's Thug Rose, I thought.
Is that Rose and Namajunas? I mean Rose and Young
Yeah,
J.
yeah.
Yeah, that's gonna be a good one. But what do you think
Um,
about Sean O'Malley hurting his foot, man, in that fight?
which fight was that?
Sean O'Malley, the guy with the skinny guy, and the one that
What did
broke
he
his
do?
foot at the end of the fight. He broke his foot. He checked the kick and broke his foot at the end of the fight.
I don't remember that.
Yeah, man, he got hurt pretty bad. He got definitely hurt pretty bad, but he got the victory as well. So he's gonna be out for a while. Um, but yeah, I think we already discussed the Cyborg Kunitskaya fight. But the next one thing I was reading about today was a super card for International Fight Week that they're trying to put together, and that would be um, Stipe versus Daniel Cormier, Brian Ortega versus Max Holloway. That would be Tyron Woodley versus Dos Anjos, and that would be I can't remember who the other one was. Cyborg versus either Nunez or Anderson. So if they put that card together, and also CM Punk versus Floyd Mayweather.
Yeah, I don't know. I still think that's a joke, man. I can't even take that serious. No, but if we really want to talk about a super card, 223 is going to be a super card, bro. Because we have Tony Ferguson fighting Khabib. That's
Fight Khabib. Okay.
that's going to
Okay.
be good. And then we got Thug Rose and the Jacek
Mhm.
match. Just those two fights alone, solidified the UFC 223's audience.
Mhm.
That's going to be huge. That's
Oh
going to be
yeah.
huge. And I honestly, I don't think it's going to go the same way for Thug Rose. As much as I like her, I don't think that she's going to be able to pull this one off. Um, Joanna is not. I mean, she was so dominant for so long. I don't think she's going to let the. I
Do
don't
you
think
think you
she's going
think
to
Thug
let
Rose?
the.
You think Thug Rose just caught her slipping one night, man?
Yeah, it'd be the same thing for like we saw with McGregor and Jose Aldo.
Oh yeah.
At that
He,
time, at that
oh
current
yes.
fight, I still think Jose Aldo was still the better fighter. He just got caught.
I
That's all.
do too.
He got
I,
caught.
I
He
do,
got
and I
caught.
also think that McGregor went on a lucky streak, getting fighters that were really good fighters and beating them when they're off their game, like when he beat Eddie Alvarez.
Well,
He
now
definitely caught
with
Eddie Alvarez.
Eddie Alvarez, I think beat himself. At that time, I don't think he was a better fighter. Connor had the flow of momentum. He had the people behind him. It was too much. It was just too much spotlight, and it
Hmm.
wasn't necessarily blinding Eddie at the time. Eddie, man, he can handle the spotlight. So it wasn't really necessarily spotlight. It was just he got outplayed. I wouldn't
Yeah, he
necessarily
did.
say one. It was his necessarily uh, a skill set thing to the point where Eddie just wasn't. Uh,
Good enough.
yeah, it wasn't that he wasn't good enough. He just beat himself. He just
Right.
beat
Right.
himself.
He lost the
But at
fight
the
before
but
he even walked into the
it's
ring.
different with the Rose and Joanna because at even though I like Rose, I still don't think her skill set matches Joanna's. She's just too good.
When it comes to striking, no, there's not many people out there who
Yeah, and it
can.
just like Jose Aldo. Jose Aldo went
Yeah.
undefeated for like 10 years,
Yeah. Yeah.
nine and a half years, and
And it's
then
just
all of a
it's
sudden he gets beaten 14 seconds. It's like, come
yeah.
on, give the dude a
Yeah.
rematch. Let's see it. And that's why I respect Rose because she's like, no, okay, yeah, I'll give you the rematch. You do definitely get the rematch. I want to say, I want to show everybody that this wasn't just a fluke. You ain't gonna
Right.
tell me that this was a fluke and then, and just hold on to the title. That was one thing I hated about Connor. Like he talked so much and he was so good. he still is so good at deflecting from the most obvious. The
Yes,
most
he
obvious
is. Like he
was
like he ducked and dodged Khabib. Like he
yeah,
did. I
like
don't care what no one says.
nobody like the real hardcore fans could see that, but the popular like the popular vote, the bigger picture, they don't see that. They don't see him
Like
avoiding the real
he
fights.
he knew he could break Eddie Alvarez verbally. Like he
Yeah,
knew, with all the press that's around every Conor McGregor fight, like he knew he's like, okay, I can pick the easier target, and the easier target just so happened to be the champion. You know what I'm saying? Like if Khabib was champion, that because Khabib doesn't care what you say. Like Khabib doesn't do much talking because his English isn't that good. He shows you what he's gonna do to you, and I think that Connor ducked that fight because that fight was offered to Connor first. When he first said he wanted to move to the lightweight division, that was what was offered to him was Habib Nurmagomedov. And he dodged that and said, I want the title. I want to fight Eddie Alvarez because he knew he could break Eddie Alvarez. You know what I'm saying? Like the fighters that he can't break, he loses to, like Nate Diaz. You know what I'm saying? Like he's not gonna break Nate
now
Diaz. But
that was
anyway,
I think that whole Nate Diaz thing. I think that was a spur of the moment. I think Connor had already trained for somebody else. Who was he supposed to fight instead? Somebody backed out of that or something happened.
somebody did back out of that fight, man, but that's been so long ago, man. I don't even remember.
Yeah, I honestly I don't even want to talk about it anymore. But back on the Khabib thing, he's gonna be fighting Tony Ferguson. That I think is gonna be that's gonna be a nice fight.
That's
I
gonna
think
be a
it's gonna
that's
be
gonna
a
be a
nice fight.
hard fought fight.
That's gonna honestly I think that's gonna put I think that's gonna be Khabib's first loss.
Yeah, it could be. It very well could be. And I'm not gonna disagree with that. And I'm not gonna agree with that. Um, Khabib is undefeated. I think he's 26-0, if I'm not mistaken.
I think
He
25.
just beat. Okay, he just beat Edson Barboza. So you sure it's 25 or is it not
Pretty
26?
sure.
Okay. Well, either way it goes, he's 25 or 26-0. So he's undefeated all. I think he's 8-0 in the UFC. So Habib's a contender. Like he should have fought for the title a long time ago, even though he was supposed to, but he got injured. Tony Ferguson is undefeated in the last 10 fights. So he's not undefeated, but he's undefeated in his last 10 fights. So that's I'm curious to see how those two are going to play out. Honestly, I was picking Tony Ferguson. If he would have had to fight Connor, I would have picked Tony Ferguson because he's got the momentum right now. I mean, he really does. He's the interim champion. He's got the belt. So he's got more to fight for, if you ask me. But Khabib is gonna maul you just like he mauls everybody else. He's gonna find a way to break you. So I don't know who's gonna win that fight. That's kind of tossed up in the air. So you guys are just gonna we're just gonna have to stay tuned and check that out, man.
Yeah, I think it's gonna be really interesting. And
We
what were you gonna say?
Oh no, I'm good, man. Go ahead.
No, I just wanna wrap it up.
Oh,
Like we said earlier, this was gonna be a short show. But
yep.
before we let this off, I do wanna talk a little bit more. Now I didn't read the full article, but for the boxing fans
Uh-oh.
and
Oh
for
boy.
real for everybody that loves boxing. I'm a boxing fan. I love boxing. But huge hit. During the everybody knows that the Triple G versus the Canelo Alvarez fight, that was kind of a sham. It turned out to be a draw. Everybody was real hardcore boxing fans. They were really disappointed. But at the end of the night, both fighters guaranteed a rematch. And then would we have it? Bam, we get a we they get to sign up for the rematch. I don't think the contracts were fully finished, but I know Golden Boy Productions, they were all ready for it. And the past few days, Canelo Alvarez, during the standard testing that they do, I think they do standardized testing every 15 days in boxing.
Something like that. Yep.
Especially if you're getting if you have a fight coming up. It's like every 15 or 16 days or something. It's more than 2 weeks. But unfortunately, Canelo Alvarez, he tested positive for clenbuterol, which is actually a steroid for everybody that doesn't know. And I'm a fan of Canelo Alvarez. I think Canelo Alvarez is probably one of the best fighters on the planet right now. And for him to have tested positive for a steroid
Kind of
it
taints his
doesn't
image.
it does yeah, it does. I mean, now I don't know why he would be doing it now because like I said, he's been in 50 plus fights and
Oh yeah.
he's been only 27 years old and never have been tested for positive for any type of growth hormone or any type of steroid ever before. So it almost is like, why is he doing it now? What's going on? Like it almost is like maybe it's a setup, maybe it's not. Either way, we'll find out more information, and I just wanted to note that.
That's kind of like a fresh wound. We'll have to wait till more of that
Yeah,
comes
we'll
out.
have to wait till more of it comes out before we can actually, add more of it to the show. But I just wanted to get that added in there because that's a big hit,
Yeah,
especially for
me and
his following.
we're gonna go do our research on that, guys, and bring that back to you next week. But real quick before we go, I know Rob's got to go. Reggie the Tree says Rose trains with the woman who beat Joanna Jędrzejczyk. I don't think it was happenstance that she won. It was a plan. She does train with Valentina Shevchenko, and Valentina Shevchenko is the only woman on paper to have beat um, Joanna Jędrzejczyk. So, and that was in Muay Thai contest
But I
way
thought
back in the.
Joanna Jędrzejczyk only has one loss.
She only has one MMA loss. This is Muay Thai, stand up striking. This
Oh,
is she lost two fights. She lost twice to Valentina Shevchenko, and we know Shevchenko is a bad sob. So
but where
uh,
did she lose to her?
I don't know where it was. I just know it was a jujitsu. It was jujitsu fights. I mean Muay Thai fights. So I
Oh,
do know that, but it wasn't MMA. It was Muay
it wasn't
Thai.
under standard fighting rules.
Well, it was Muay Thai. It wasn't MMA.
Okay.
So it was a
Well,
little different.
it wasn't under standard fighting rules.
Right. So she's the only person to beat Joanna Jędrzejczyk standing up, which is understandable. I mean, it's Valentina Shevchenko, but we're not
Well,
going
I
to get
wasn't.
into that.
And by the way, I wasn't saying that it was. I'm not on the side of it being. I'm not on the side of it not being a skilled thing. I'm a fan of Rose. I think
Yeah.
that she genuinely beat her, but
She
for her
she
to turn right around and just say I'm not fighting nobody else, you automatically get the rematch, especially and that's the way it should be, by the way.
yes.
That honestly should be how it is. But
When
in a
you have such,
society full of people that don't do that, the UFC rarely does that.
I
Boxing
think it's
rarely
only,
does that.
I think it's only necessary when you have such a dominant champion. When you don't have like if you don't have if you have somebody who okay, like Misha Tate, she won the belt and never defended it. She lost it. It wouldn't have made sense for Amanda Nunes to give Misha a
No, no,
rematch
no,
because she
no.
knew. Go
I
ahead.
don't think that I don't think that doesn't match. I don't think that yeah, that's not the same thing. That's not the same thing. For when Amanda Nunes beat Misha Tate, right? Took the
Mm-hmm.
belt. I don't think that would have necessarily uh that type of situation where um I mean like Joanna Jędrzejczyk was a dominant fighter and she just
Mm-hmm.
got beat in the first round. It was
Mm-hmm.
game over. It was just that type of situation leads to people suggesting that it was a
That she
fluke.
got lucky. Yeah.
So in her mind, it's almost like she almost agrees with it because in a
Mm-hmm.
society built, especially combative fighting, boxing and MMA together combined, they don't necessarily do that. I mean, it
Right.
was really popular back in the day. I mean, Muhammad Ali, Joe Frazier.
Mm-hmm.
Frazier came out and just beat him. Oh, bam! He gave him a rematch because he just knew
Mm-hmm.
Muhammad Ali was the man at the time. But in
Mm-hmm.
society now, how about like Connor didn't give it to Jose Aldo? Should
Nope.
have, guaranteed should have.
Yes, he should have. I agree with that. I definitely agree with that. But guys, we are going to wrap it up. We got some things going on. Rob's got some things going on. He's got to get to, guys. We just wanted to come on real quick and just give you guys a recap of what was going on. Um, like I said, guys, when the year turned from 2017 to 2018, we got some things coming. So just be patient with us. We appreciate everybody that subscribed to us once again. We appreciate everybody that's watching this video. Hit the like button. Um, and we, once again, we just appreciate you guys being there. And we're going to wrap it up for tonight, but we will continue on these topics.
Oh yeah, we gotta bring you some more stuff. We're gonna touch base more on the Canelo Alvarez, and we're gonna bring you some more depth next week.
Yeah, just leave it at that. We're just going to bring you some more depth.
Where's your video, bro?
Is it off? I didn't even notice that it was off.
Yeah,
Holy crap.
been gone.
I've been off the whole time. There we go. I'm back.
You back, and then we're leaving.
Yeah, we're leaving. But yeah, thanks, guys. We're out. Like, share, tell your friends about us.
Subscribe, leave a comment.
Subscribe.
Even if it's just a happy face.
Yeah.
Let us know you enjoyed it.
Yeah, thank you, guys. We out. Peace out.